Hello, everybody. So everybody knows Ireland's policy neutrality goes back a long time. It's nearly the foundation of the state. We've never really been in a military alliance with any other country, and so we shouldn't, because Ireland's role in the world, in my opinion, in the role we have for the last 80 years since the Second World War, is promoting understanding, promoting stability across the world, promoting talking, engaging discussions. And that's better than, and in the modern world, it's better than the sword. Because we have seen time after time war and suffering on different countries. In Ireland, we've experienced it ourselves during the War of Independence, etc., etc. We know what suffering is. We've seen what happened during the War of Independence from the Black and Tans, etc., etc. We see suffering. We know Irish people know suffering. During the famine, the War of Independence, as I say, the Civil War too was a very desperate time in this country. Irish people know suffering. Every family's experienced it in Irish history, going back even decades, hundreds of decades ago. We all know it, and it achieved nothing. And I'm sure we know about the troubles in Northern Ireland too. All the killing and bombings and kidnappings achieved nothing. It caused more suffering, more pain. And families still to this day feel that pain, and children still without their mothers and without their fathers. Pain is just not worth it. War, to be totally honest, because it achieves nothing. It's only for the rich, and it's only for the 1%, the rich and the powerful. It's not for the ordinary Joe. The ordinary Joe achieves nothing but pain and suffering. And we have to acknowledge that, and Ireland should acknowledge that, because obviously for the last 80 years we haven't been in the military alliance, we haven't been in an active war situation, which thanks be to God we haven't. But in the future too, particularly Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael are very, at the moment, tilting towards abandoning Irish neutrality. Obviously they know that Irish people won't tolerate that, and shouldn't tolerate it. Because the majority of people in this state would agree with that. We shouldn't join NATO, because we would have to find the money too. If we would, this is the thing that I forget to mention. We would have to find the money to fund NATO. And then obviously our GDP too for the feds would have to go up to 3% or so, and it's only barely 1% now. So the money would have to come from somewhere, either from housing, either from healthcare. Something would have to give somewhere, and I don't think we should do that. As simple as that, or put ourselves in any risk. Not getting involved in the situation is the best policy, I think, for Ireland, and promoting understanding and promoting peace and trying to promote reconciliation and understanding and engagement, because that's what Ireland should be and has stood for the last 80 years, to say peacekeeping in times of trouble in other countries. We have a huge record of peacekeeping, huge distinguished record of peacekeeping, as we've seen in Lebanon, in the Golan Heights, we've seen in the Congo during the Congo crisis, across many other countries, Sudan, etc., peacekeeping, trying to promote understanding, engagement, etc., and stability, more stability. And I do think it's the most important thing coming into this election, because we see the mainstream Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael jumping up and down, what Irish neutrality thrown out the window. And as we know, we're a small country, we have basically nothing to offer in terms of the military. We don't have a military capabilities. We don't really have an arms industry, etc., etc. So we're really much as defenceless as we can get. So it is important that we do keep a neutrality, especially it's a dangerous world, unfortunately, at the moment. It is a truly dangerous world. And the only way to keep our children and ourselves safe is not to get involved, as simple as that. It's the same during the Second World War. Only for Ireland didn't get involved. A lot of us wouldn't be here today because our past family would have been killed, etc., etc. I'm sure people get what I'm saying, and it has served the state well in not getting involved, and I do think we should keep that. Secondly, just in the second bit, just when I'm here, is to do with sovereignty. Now, sovereignty is a very important issue in this country, because we see Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael basically one and the same, so we can gather that the two of them believe in the same thing. Micheál Martin, leader of Fianna Fáil, we don't want a backwards looking idea of sovereignty. We're fully committed to the ideas of the European Union. Now, I don't know why the people in 1960 went out and fought. I don't think they fought for the European Union. As far as I can get, I don't think they even considered the European Union. They only fought for Ireland. And the same with the people of the War of Independence. I never heard them ever were going to fight for the European Union. They fought for Irish sovereignty, for Ireland to be free, to have its own government, to have its own democracy, to have its own systems, to have its own police force, to have its own military. That's what they fought for. And this idea from the government that Ireland doesn't have the right to sovereignty is completely baloney, and belittles our history of fighting for independence for 800 years. Why did we fight for 800 years if we were going to just give up on sovereignty, etc., etc.? And I do think that's another important thing, because we have to make sure the political parties hear the Irish people and say, we want sovereignty, we're entitled to sovereignty, our grandfathers, our parents fought for our sovereignty, fought for our freedom, and we deserve to be sovereign as a free and independent state. And that's beginning and end of it. There's no two ways about it in that subject. That's what I believe, and I think the majority of Irish people would agree on that. And particularly with neutrality, I think a Buisen poll was nearly 80% against joining NATO or any other military alliance. And as I said before, if we were going to join NATO, the money would have to come from somewhere, and the Feds and committing to the NATO alliance, take for example, and giving money. The money would have to come from somewhere, and I think Irish people agree with that, and know that in the military situation that we have at the moment, we've never been a military power. It's better to stay out of it and hope for the best. Thank you.